The first update we have today is about a really striking moment of reflection from Tamra Judge, from the Real Housewives of Orange County. What really stood out was her looking back on leaving the show temporarily. And she was incredibly candid, admitting that at that time she was actually taking Xanax and mixing it with alcohol. It's quite something to hear.
It really is. It illuminates so much about the hidden pressures, right? And Tamra clarified this wasn't just happening in a vacuum. She was in intense therapy then. Plus, she was also dealing with the just awful news about Teddy Mellencamp's brain cancer diagnosis. She described it as hitting an emotional wall, which I think vividly brings to life the sheer amount of personal stuff she was handling, way more than we probably saw.
That weight she was carrying.
Yeah, it's just, she's likely using those substances to cope during a really, really vulnerable time.
And you see that personal struggle echoed in her more recent reflections, too. Like, she specifically apologized to Heather Dubrow, saying, "Sorry for the way I responded to you." And she also made a point to thank the viewers, the fans, for their support. She even shared this really touching message from a fan. It showed a lot of empathy. Well, this person said they felt heartbroken for Tamra back then, feeling like no one fully had your back, maybe Heather, or even just a heart for the time you're living. And they pushed back on the idea it was just another Tamra excuse.
Right. What this whole situation demonstrates so clearly is how tough it is when your private life, your struggles become public entertainment.
Yeah.
These shows build these characters, but when real life hits hard, well, that line gets blurred and people face judgment based on, let's be honest, often incomplete pictures.
It makes you question how we watch these things.
Exactly. Our role in that whole dynamic.
But, there's always that question, too. When you sign up for this public life, isn't there some expectation? Where's that line between empathy for the struggle and acknowledging the choices made?
It's a really fair question. And it's complex. I think Tamra's honesty about self-medicating points towards something deeper than just like a bad reaction on camera. It illustrates potential mental health challenges that can really flare up under that kind of intense spotlight.
Right.
Her decision to leave summed up in that social media post.
It was a long run. When life gives you real problems, this reality doesn't make sense. Peace out. I'm out.
Exactly. Next update we have about Tom Sandoval, what he's been up to, and his thoughts on, well, maybe joining the Valley.
Sandoval, always keeping things interesting. What's the latest?
Well, he talked about special forces, called it one of the hardest things I've ever done, said it was way harder than it lives on TV.
I bet. Those shows look brutal.
Totally. He seemed excited for Brittany Cartwright joining the next season, wished her luck, said it's really just about testing yourself.
Interesting perspective. And what about his other reality stints? Like The Traitors?
He said The Traitors definitely brought back a sense of confidence for him, which, makes sense after the whole Sandoval fallout with Rachel Leviss.
Right. A chance to be seen differently.
Exactly. He said he loves competition shows, wants to do more, called House of Villains Season 3 his favorite experience in that genre. This definitely demonstrates a shift in his reality TV strategy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a move away from the relationship drama of Vanderpump Rules towards a different kind of reality persona, the competitor, maybe even the redeemed villain, perhaps.
Maybe. So the big question, the Valley. Especially now Jax Taylor's out. Would Sandoval ever jump in?
What did he say?
He was a bit cagey. Said it's always nice to be asked, but claimed he's focusing on other aspects of my life right now.
Classic non-answer answer.
Pretty much. But he did add, but you never know. You never know. So the door's not totally shut.
And what about him and Jax? Are they good now?
Apparently. He said he just saw Jax yesterday. They watched Freakier Friday together. Said they're doing good.
Wow, after everything.
Yeah. Tom said he's really just trying to support him and be a good friend to him as he tries and he gets the help that he needs. And as for what's actually next, Tom even floated the idea of doing Survivor.
Survivor. Okay, that would be a pivot. From West Hollywood drama to, building shelters and eating bugs.
Right. It definitely feels like he's actively trying to figure out his next move, his next image. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Alexia Nepola's ex-husband, Todd Nepola. He recently went on this really lengthy public rant against the Real Housewives of Miami producers. On Instagram, no less.
Right, and this came right after Alexia herself revealed she'd get no contact with him for, over 45 days. Said she felt free.
Yeah, exactly. And Todd, well, he certainly wasn't quiet about it. He's flat out accusing Bravo of slander, defamation, warning about a court battle. His Instagram caption literally said, "Enough is enough. Your lies, bullying, and behind-the-scenes extortion tactics have gone too far." I mean, that's pretty direct, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's more than just complaining about an edit. We're talking serious legal threats here. From someone who isn't even main cast, it kind of sets a different tone.
Yeah.
And his personal breaking point seemed to be these claims he called wildly false and deeply manipulated, especially about how he cared for Alexia's son, Frankie.
Right, Frankie, who has the brain injury. That must have really struck a chord.
Totally. Todd said it hit a nerve. He insisted, and I think this was his quote, "There's not a person on this earth that's done as much for him, other than his parents, than me."
Wow.
Yeah, he pointed to, providing a roof, designer clothes, spending time with him. It clearly became very, very personal for him.
And it wasn't just about Frankie, was it? He broadened his criticism.
He did. He slammed the producers, he felt, for focusing attacks on Gertie and Era, who's, a cancer survivor. He said they allowed gang-style pile-ons, physical violence, gaslighting, microaggressions, and racially charged comments to go unchecked. Strong words.
Very strong. Accusing them of basically enabling cruelty, turning mean-spiritedness into entertainment. He even went after the whole Bravo brand and the ratings focus.
It makes you wonder, what happens when people tied to the show start attacking its core like this, publicly.
It does. And Todd was pretty clear about his own feelings. He said agreeing to do the show was, quote, the biggest mistake I've made in my adult life. Said he never even wanted to be a reality star.
Which evokes this sense of, deep regret, right? He explained the final straw, the breaking point, came when lies started being told.
In that specific lie? That was about his finances.
Yeah, Adriana Demora suggested he was struggling financially, couldn't pay rent.
Okay.
Todd's response was, well, basically, are you kidding me? He said at that exact time, he'd just bought a $24 million shopping center.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you can see why he'd be furious.
Exactly. He was angry at Adriana for the lie, angry at Alexia for, I guess, letting it happen or involving him, and especially angry at the producers because he claims they knew it wasn't true.
Well, that really illuminates why he felt so betrayed.
And it connects to his decision about the relationship. He said he realized he couldn't live in this world anymore, and the woman I love couldn't live without it, so I had to make a decision to leave.
That's heavy.
Yeah. And he also mentioned being led to believe he'd get an apology from Adriana if he kept filming, but instead he felt he got more slander and defamation.
And didn't he mention making amends with Alexia's other son, Peter?
He did. Said he suspected Peter was sort of used by producers, for the paycheck to paint a false picture of Todd. Just layers upon layers here.
Unbelievable. So it all comes down to this legal threat.
Pretty much. He ended his video saying to the producers, you're going to have a courtroom to perform in. I'm going to win a lot of money. And he plans to give it to anti-bullying groups.
So he's serious, or at least he wants them to think he is.
It certainly sounds like more than just venting. We'll have to see if anything actually comes of it legally.
Meanwhile, Alexia, in her interview around August 13th, she confirmed it was her call to go no contact, said it felt great.
Right, a completely different vibe from her side.
Yeah, she wants to turn my pain into purpose, inspire other women. Said she was protective of the story at first, even considered quitting the show for him.
Wow, really?
That's what she said. But now she's focused on her kids, family, herself, so she feels peace, happiness, free, looking towards her next chapter. So very different outlooks.
Definitely sounds like it. A painful split, clearly, but maybe necessary for both of them in different ways.
Next update, we have about another really intense situation, the ongoing legal battle between Kroy Biermann and Kim Zolciak. Still fighting over custody of their 4 kids.
Yeah, Kroy Jr., Cash, and the twins, Kaya and Kane. It's been messy, and it just seems to keep escalating.
Kroy's latest move is filing for full custody. He's claiming there's a noteworthy absence of structure and accountability in the mother's home.
Ooh. He thinks their current plan, splitting the kids up, isn't healthy. Wants them all with him for more stability. It demonstrates his level of concern, I guess. Or his perspective on what stability means, anyway. These filings are always so one-sided, aren't they?
True, and the accusations get pretty specific. Kroy alleges Kim leaves the kids alone, or with others often. Says 3 are struggling in school, but she picks them up early sometimes without explaining why. He also claims Kim shows next to no familiarity with the children's needs and is emotionally and psychologically abusive, as well as manipulative towards them. I mean, these are really serious things to put out there publicly.
Incredibly serious. And doing it in public filings, it just feels brutal for the kids involved. He even mentioned sending Kaya to Montana for the summer with his family because of her supposedly fractured relationship with Kim.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask, what's the long-term emotional cost for these children? Having all this play out so publicly, their friends could see this stuff.
It's awful to think about. Of course, Kim's team fired back immediately.
Naturally.
Her rep called Kroy's claims completely false, misleading, and deeply hurtful. Said Kim has always been a devoted, loving, and attentive mother, and the primary emotional anchor during this tough time.
Standard denial, but you can feel the tension. And Kim's team had a strategic angle too, didn't they?
They did. They accused Kroy's filing of being basically a publicity stunt, claiming he heard Kim was about to file her own motions, so he rushed his out first and did it unsealed.
Ah, the unsealed part. That's key.
Exactly. Kim's rep pointed out that she files everything under seal to protect her children, implying Kroy's move was reckless, potentially exposing the kids to bullying or humiliation.
Which really demonstrates how these legal fights become PR battles too, doesn't it? Every move is calculated not just for the court, but for public opinion, especially with reality stars.
Next update we have about Heather Dubrow, who was on Watch What Happens Live, addressing some RHOC stuff.
Right, fancy pants herself. What was she tackling?
Well, mainly that accusation from Gina Kirschenheiter about Heather supposedly digging up dirt on Katie Janela's custody issues and feeding it to Emily Simpson. That all came out at the reunion.
Ah, yes, the research drama. How did Heather respond?
She was very clear. Quote, "I have never researched anyone. That is not my thing." She explained that a bunch of articles about Katie just popped up online. Magazine, page 6, whatever, between filming ending and the reunion taping.
Happens all the time.
And apparently the cast members were all sending them to each other. So Heather sending one to Emily was, in her words, not any more salacious than that.
So basically just sharing gossip that was already out there within their group. That depicts a pretty common dynamic in those circles, right? Information just circulates.
Seems like it. Then she talked about Tamra Judge's big "I quit" moment in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, that was dramatic. Did Heather buy it?
She said she was completely shocked at the time. But then she added, with that classic Heather humor, "Did I think she quit? Yes and no. It's like her implants, they always come back."
Huh. Okay, that's pretty funny and probably true.
But she also showed some empathy. She said she missed a lot of the signs leading up to Tamra's blow-up, but felt she needed to give Tamra grace.
Grace. Why specifically?
Because of what Tamra was dealing with personally, especially Teddy Mellencamp, revealing her brain cancer diagnosis around that time.
Ah, right. That context is important. It does highlight how real life bleeds into the show, even after, 15 years of friendship between Heather and Tamra? It's complex.
Definitely. Heather also touched on the potential reconciliation between Tamra and Gretchen Rossi.
Oh, that old feud.
Yeah. Heather said it was very stressful being stuck in the middle. But she actually thinks Tamra truly wants to move forward with Gretchen. Just wish their hallway chat had had more time.
Interesting. Maybe there's hope yet. What about the Katie Janela and Shannon Bedore feud? The recording situation?
Heather said Katie recording Shannon was one thing, but the playing it for Alexis Bellino was what really pushed it over the edge.
So the act of sharing the recording was the bigger betrayal in her eyes?
Seems so.
Huh?
Which led to a viewer question about hypocrisy. Wasn't Kelly Dodd recorded ages ago and nobody cared that much?
Good question. Viewers remember everything.
Right. But Heather had an explanation for that, which actually clarifies how production might have changed.
Okay, what was it?
She said, back when Kelly was recorded, producers weren't always around. And the cast was actually told, if anything happens, please pick up your phone and film it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Explicit instruction.
Yeah. But now, she says, there are producer cams and producers everywhere. And with Kelly, she added, there was no hidden camera. It was right there.
Gotcha. So different context, different production standards now. That illuminates a lot, actually. The rules of engagement have evolved.